Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Data Standard Audio Experience. I'm your host, Catherine Tao, and today on our podcast, we have Craig Waldrop, the VP of Channel and Strategic Alliances from Neutrality Data Centers. So I'm very excited to speak with you, Craig. So welcome to the show, and we're very happy to have you today.
Well, thank you, Catherine. I'm grateful for the opportunity to participate in your podcast series. It's an honor, and I hope to provide your listeners with some perspective into the importance of data. Not that they don't think it's already important, but certainly to see how it's shaping every industry and how it's certainly one of the key catalysts behind what's happening in the data center sector that I work in.
Yeah, definitely. So can you tell us more about how you got started in your data career?
Well, depending on how you look at it, I suppose I could say I've been in data my entire career, spanning several decades. I started it out in telecommunications, focused on developing services that securely move data great distances across interconnected networks. More recently, in the last decade or so, while working in this data center business, I've been fortunate to work with many of the biggest names in IT, learning about their data-centric solutions, and then brought the relevant ones into a multi-tenant, highly connected data center in the last company and the company I work at now. Well, I would be honest with you and your listeners that I'm not a data scientist or a data practitioner per se, but I have a view into many of the unique and meaningful use cases that the community is interested in or are themselves creating solutions to take out to market. And so, I'm the accounting major turned project manager and then turned business developer, while ironically being close or never too far from data over the last 20 plus years of my career.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. And so within your industry that you work in, how does data drive your business and how do you really leverage the data?
Yeah, it's a good question. Well, it certainly sounds like a cliche, but data is the new fiat for digital business. And without it, the tools that create data, manipulate it, move it, store it, and then analyze it, they're just meaningless. And so this applies to all industries. And I'd point out that data comes in many forms, right? We currently concern ourselves with that, which is represented by ones and zeros, but previously it was written or someone saw it or spoke something to make a decision or to base their decisions on. And then today, with guidance from algorithms created by some very intelligent people, some of which I'm sure are your listeners, and machine learning and artificial intelligence, those are now dictating the ability for machines to make data-informed decisions. I can't think of many businesses that aren't driven by data in some way, even the less sophisticated ones, and I think ours is no different. We certainly analyze data about our customers, the market, and our operations to try to make some of those business decisions here at Neutrality, as most companies do, I imagine. We use it in particular to determine how and where to best serve our customers, to anticipate their needs, their requirements, and how to tweak operations and become as efficient, as effective as possible. And being a data center operator puts us in a unique position. In our case, owning data centers that sit at the nexus of connectivity means our buildings are this treasure trove of data that traverses the internet and private networks and has access to a whole myriad of data analytics, data warehousing, and manipulation tools. And so this is very exciting when you think about all of the new IoT use cases out at the edge, like connected vehicles, smart cities, smart factories, and many more, right, that are creating data at the edge. Our data centers are close to the edge where the necessary compute, storage, and networking exists to make use of it in a low latent manner.
Yeah, that sounds great, and how you're really leveraging data within your industry. And so can you now tell us kind of more of a specific project that you've worked on that's involved data or AI?
Sure. So I've been in my current role here just over 4 months, but in my last role, prior to the pandemic, I saw some really interesting use cases and had the opportunity to work on several projects that were focused on the distributed nature of data, right? It's out close to the end users, and the need to have data solutions across the broad spectrum of hardware, software, and networking. I think so. I guess I'll mention two. The two most interesting I've seen are in predictive maintenance. One was for doing predictive maintenance on aircraft. So looking at all of the data from a bleed flow air system coming off of the 787 aircraft for a large air carrier. Another use case was looking at the public safety and specifically for a police department taking video off of the body cameras and the cars or the patrol vehicles. And in both cases, that involved a very large amount of data, right? The modern airplane, and the 787 is certainly a modern aircraft, they can generate up to 7 terabits per flight. And then with video surveillance, right, video files are very dense and very large. And when they're being streamed and generated, real time, there's a lot of data being streamed. So, both projects needed to perform, multiple functions, derive insights, and make, in both cases, very insightful and important real-time decisions, which, if not made or made incorrectly, could impact a whole lot of people. And, even if you just look at the baseline for the airline use case, being able to be efficient saves the airline a ton of money. Not to mention allows them to maintain their number one priority, which is keeping their customers safe. And likewise in the public safety with the police department, right? Being able to look at data, anticipate danger, as well as go back and look at historical data and videos and making some decisions was super important. So having low latency access to the data and computing resources at the edge really made a substantial difference in the potential outcome for those decisions that can be made. And I think these are just a couple of examples where the nature of data being distributed out in many locations and the data pipeline are incredibly important concepts to get your arms around.
Great examples there too, that kind of really leverage data within the industries. And so with all of these concepts and these methods, I should say, all these methods that you and your company use in order to really leverage the data to make these business decisions, what types of challenges have you encountered with all of this?
Oh my goodness. I would say there's no shortage of challenges to overcome. I tend to see those more as opportunities. So I flip the coin and look at the positive side of it. Of course, in my role and line of work, we're ultimately measured through the typical financial metrics and goals we've set. And my particular case, reporting to investors, shareholders, or to a board. And so hitting those goals is motivating as one might imagine. However, I tend to see as starting and ending with our customers. We're service providers in the end. And if we serve them well and solve their problems, we'll be rewarded for that. So I would say one challenge we as a whole sector are really focused on is our impact on the climate and operating our facilities in an environmental and a community conscious way. We're very conscious of the impact our facilities and the data centers in general have on the environment. We are challenged with how we can utilize cleaner ways of supplying electricity or power to our customers' infrastructure that they house inside our data centers. The amount of electricity data centers use is substantial, right? I think we're probably some of the biggest users of electrical energy in the world. These data centers require a ton of electricity. And the ongoing pandemic has really reaffirmed for me, and I think many of us in our industry, the importance of what we do in our sector and the position we hold in the digital world. We take that seriously and strive to deliver the best quality of service and availability, but doing it in a very sustainable way. And that's what is important to our customers and society at large. So at present, I'm trying to solve those main challenges of driving successful business and sustainability by working with partners. My role is to run indirect sales and create some strategic alliances and working with partners. And so the business and IT world is an incredibly complex landscape, and one where, as a small company like ours, we must partner to overcome our challenges and succeed in the marketplace. And that's what's so interesting, in my opinion, about the data spheres. There's just so many different providers out there, so many different technological solutions that you just can't do it on your own. And so in my case, I'm trying to isolate the data center use cases that are most applicable and align with our company's value proposition, which is all about interconnectivity and ecosystems. And I'm focused on, what are those data technologies and solutions that would be most attractive, and whom are the best partners in the marketplace that can showcase those to our customers. Additionally, I see the challenge. There's lots of challenges, but I see the challenge of our own adoption of these data and AI solutions, and that kind of links back to this whole challenge around sustainability, right? These play a major role in what's called data center infrastructure management, or DSIM. That's what's potentially aiding us in running our data centers as efficiently as possible. So we're continually monitoring the health and the environment of these facilities, and we collect data from sensors, capture surveillance and security data, and utilizing all that information to increase the performance and to increase the efficiency, rather, of the usage of electricity, the cooling technology that we have to use to cool the infrastructure and the floor space that we provide. And so, our services, we provide at the lowest end of the OSI stack. So we're an infrastructure player, if you will. But innovations in AI and software in particular can really help us and our partners manage our data centers effectively and cost efficiently. And I would say across the entire sector, sustainability and running as efficiently as possible is top of mind.
Yeah, and I think it's also important to talk about the collaboration aspect as well within your team, really understanding the challenges within the industry and how to help mitigate that to get to that end goal for the overall business
Absolutely.
goal. But great insight there, yeah. And so how do you see the data field evolving in the future now?
I don't consider myself Nostradamus by any stretch, but I would say, the data field is going to continue to be in high demand, the skill sets in particular around data. We're likely looking at a shortage for the foreseeable future. Right? I think we need to encourage, young, educated professionals to consider the field, because, it's incredibly important to help non-practitioners like myself. Right? We're gonna have to be indoctrinated into, developments and to stay on top of the consistently evolving set of solutions that are out there and that our customers, and in my case, the partners are using or contemplating delivering to the market. And so I definitely see the field increasing in importance as more businesses undergo digital transformation. And I would say, the exciting times of, new companies are being started all of the time, and most all of them are in the digital sphere, right? And so they're starting from scratch with data in mind, right? They're homegrown, they're built in the cloud, they're built with the assumption that AI is core to their business or core to maybe even their own product or service offering. And so I definitely see the field continuing to evolve and seeking new professionals to drive new products, new services, new companies for that matter.
Yeah, great insight there. And thank you so much for being on the show today, Craig. It was so great speaking with you and learning more about your background and all the things that you do at your company. We at the Data Standard, we're trying to build a community of data enthusiasts and data thought leaders so that everybody has a place where they can network and collaborate with each other. And so what is something that we can do for you?
Yeah, well, I think it's super important what you guys are doing, Catherine. Bringing people together to network and to, share ideas is it's some of the best ways to create innovation and to build a network of people working towards common goals. And so, I'm definitely what some would call a data enthusiast, and maybe perhaps an aspiring thought leader in the space. So connecting to and collaborating with a community like the one you're stimulating here of data leaders and practitioners, it's certainly highly desirable for me. And so, there's a mutual benefit when it comes to looking at data-driven solutions, which of course may end up in a data center. So getting access to use cases and problems that the community is solving is of great value to me and value to our company. Plus, I really like learning about all the amazing problems and the data, what the data world is uncovering and solving at the same time. So it's humbling to be alongside and learning from such brilliant minds as well. And I'm really looking forward to collaborating and connecting with the folks in your community.
Yeah, definitely. And it's important to also note that the data field and just technology field in general, it's ever changing and it's always innovating as the years go by. And so it's really important for us to really be able to build a community for everyone to meet each other and keep updated on all of the trends and all the changing factors within the field. But yeah, definitely. And where can our community find you online?
Well, there's no doubt about it's ever changing, and so yeah, you can definitely reach out to me on LinkedIn. My email is cwaldrop, just like it sounds, WALDROP @netrality.com. So don't hesitate to contact or connect with me if you want to talk about data or data centers in particular. Super happy to talk about that topic. So yeah, please do reach out. And I really, again, appreciate your giving me this opportunity, Catherine, to participate.
Yeah, absolutely. And to our audience, for more information on the data standard, you can find us at www.datastandard.io, as well as our LinkedIn and our YouTube channel. And this episode is sponsored by Pandio. They're innovating the tech space with their Apache Pulsar messaging system. So learn more about their work at pandio.com. And thank you so much, Craig, for joining us. So great to speak with you, learning more about your background and everything. And we hope to keep in touch and speak to you again soon.
Sounds good. Thanks again, Kevin.